You walk into a coffee shop you have never visited before, and then you freeze. The light through the window, the hiss of the machine, a stranger laughing 2 tables away, the small chipped cup sitting on the counter. You know this. Not from yesterday, not from last week. You saw all of it. Inside a dream you had months ago, and forgot, until this exact second. For just a moment, the wall between sleeping and waking simply dissolves. This feeling has a name. The French call it déjà rêvé, already dreamed, and what scientists discovered about it is stranger than any ghost story. Most people confuse this with déjà vu. They are not the same thing. Déjà vu is the vague sense that I have been here before. Déjà rêvé is sharper and far more unsettling. It is the certainty that you are living out a specific dream you already had. And here is the first surprise. This is not rare. In 2010, 2 researchers, Funkhouser and Schredl, studied how often people experience it. The result? Almost no one is immune. Fewer than 5% of people said they had never felt it. Most experience it a few times a year. Some, every single week. So if it is happening to millions of us, what is actually going on inside the brain? The answer lives in a region tucked behind your ear, the temporal lobe, the brain center for memory and recognition. Neuroscientists do not describe déjà rêvé as magic. They describe it with precise terms. A recognition error, a false sense of familiarity, a moment when the brain's "this is new" signal and its "I remember this" signal fire at the very same time. In plain words, your brain mislabels the present moment as a retrieved memory and stamps it with the texture of a dream. It feels like prophecy. It is, in fact, a filing error. But that explanation raised a bigger question. If it is a glitch inside the temporal lobe, could scientists trigger it on purpose? They could. In 2018, a team led by Jonathan Curot at the University Hospital of Toulouse in France published a study in the journal Brain-Stimulation. They were working with epilepsy patients, people who had fine electrodes placed deep inside the brain for medical reasons. And when the researchers sent a tiny electrical current into the temporal lobe, the patients suddenly began to relive dreams. Some recalled one specific dream. Others felt only a vague, dreamlike familiarity. A few felt as though they were dreaming, while fully awake. The team had done something extraordinary. They had switched the feeling on. Like flipping a light, déjà rêvé was not a message from the future. It was a circuit, and they had found it. But that does not close the case completely. Because why do some of these dreams seem to predict a real moment that arrives later? Here, scientists are careful. Some researchers have explored whether dreaming involves something called predictive processing. The idea that the brain is constantly running quiet simulations of possible futures. Not to see the future, but to prepare for it. Under this view, you never dreamed tomorrow. Your sleeping brain rehearsed thousands of ordinary scenes. And once in a while, reality happens to match one of them. You only remember the hit. You forget the thousands of misses. It is not prophecy. It is probability. The evidence is still debated. And honestly, that is exactly what makes it fascinating. Because even with the electrodes, even with the theories, one thing still remains unexplained. We still do not fully understand why the dreaming brain and the waking brain occasionally trade places, or why that overlap feels so deeply, physically real. Science has found the switch. It has not yet explained the experience. So the next time you walk into a room and your whole body whispers, "I have seen this before," in a dream, you will know 2 things. It is almost certainly your temporal lobe, not your destiny. But that quiet space where dreams and reality blur? Science has only just begun to map it. Have you ever experienced déjà rêvé? Tell me your story in the comments. The dream, and the moment it came true. I read every one. Sleep well,